Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it
have
seems-
1 minute left, so we will wait a couple of more minutes to have all the participants join.
I think as it's in the middle of the summer, I make a recording and then we make the recording accessible for anybody.
I have actually made a recording of a similar session previously in another project, and that I put out on YouTube. I made a YouTube account, and I can say that film has not. It does not make any records of the most popular YouTube movie. Yeah. So it's maybe not the world's most exciting movie, but
yep.
But it can be very helpful, so it's also good.
Yeah.
Not so much entertainment.
Maybe you should call it how to solve problems with anything.
Yes.
And then people have to go in there and have a check.
I see we are 11 participants now. I think there are 15 that have signed up to join this meeting.
Maybe I can start to say some words. I'm Stefan Gunnarsson, and I'm the coordinator of BROILERNET, and I think I have met most of you. It's a pleasure to be coordinating BROILERNET, and there is a lot of outputs and inputs to the European Commission. So yesterday we submitted 7 reports as a deliverable to the Commission, and I also would like to add that if there is any problems with the putting in the figures or doing the reporting, so never hesitate in contacting me, Halvard. You can also contact our, if you're an industry partner, please, you can contact our academic partners and they might be able to help you. But there will be some video recording available after this meeting, so you can see it again. And we will see if Halvard will have another round of explaining how it works. So yeah, you're very welcome to this. So please, Halvard.
Yeah, I will go ahead now. And I'm going to start to share my screen. Let's see here. I'll be sharing my screen now.
We can see that you have started to be sharing something. It's a website of forest fire.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Very well. Just to first say welcome to everybody. I appreciate that you have taken the time to participate here. Some of you have maybe just finished your vacation. Some are just starting the vacation. We have done this once before, so it's a little bit of a repetition, maybe for some. but of course it's been a year since last time. Then I think there were at least one partner that did not submit a report last time. For that partner, of course, it's very important that the financial report is submitted this time. And then, of course, then the period will be from the beginning of the project up until 31st of July this year. I'm going to now to show you first how to find the funding and tender portal. Let's see here. I think the easiest way of finding the portal is to just search in Google for funding and tender portal.
Central funding portal.
Yeah. And it will be the first thing that shows up. Down here. You will sign in. I think all of you have previously signed in with on the portal. If you have forgotten your password username, there is a function for that you can get a link in your email to select a new password. So here you are in the funding and tender portal, and you'll go to projects. Many of you might have just one project. If you have many projects, you can just search for the BROILERNET project, then you will get to it. Then you'll go to the Manage project. And you will see here that reporting is now open. Is both the technical part, the financial part, and the periodic report, which is the periodic report is the name when the technical part and the financial part for each partner is combined, then it's called the periodic report. And you also see here the period that we are reporting. So it is from the 1st of February 2024 until 31st of July 2025. So until yesterday. That is the period. Unless you didn't do a report last time, then of course it also includes the report before that, the 18 months before that also. Maybe you should double check, keep in mind to double check that you don't double report any costs. Normally you should take the costs that you have entered into your accounting system in between these two dates. Maybe you last time included some costs that were not yet entered into the accounting system. Then you will have to manually remove those costs from your accounting or not include those costs this time. So please double check that. Was there any manual adding of costs last time and so on? Then I can also show you just a couple of places here where you can find some very useful information. You have the latest legal data that you can click here, which is a possibility to find the latest information about the project. Here you can find the budget, your budget. You can find your reporting periods here. You'll see here that we are now on the second reporting period, and we have one reporting period left. The next reporting period will only be 12 months. So yeah, and you have here financial information where you can find the budget for all the partners in the project. So it's a good way to find necessary information. And also the info about work packages, obviously, and so on. Then another place, when you do this reporting, it might be useful for you to have a look at what did you report last time. And if you don't have it available, you can find it here under Document Library. And you click the Document Library. And you will then see all documents related to the project. You can here even find, for example, the grant agreement. If you need to look at the grant agreement, you can find that here. And also, if you go down here to June 2024 and periodic report, then you can click on periodic report, and then you can find the previous financial statements for every partner. The name of the partner is not mentioned here, only the PIC number, the PIC code. So you have to check your PIC code first in order to know which PDF file to click here to find your financial statement. So that once you find it, you can click on it. It will be downloaded, and you can open the file, a PDF file. And here you will see the figures that you reported in your financial statement last time. You see that here for the employees, the salaries, the travels, and other costs that you have reported, indirect cost. You can find that here if you need to look back and check what you reported. So let's see here. And also another information that is, let's see, where is it? Oh, did I go out from the, okay. I just have to go back to the portal. When reporting your personnel costs and your person months, you might want to go back and check what person months you reported for each work package last time. And that you can also find here. If you go in the same place, document library, again, and you go to the periodic report. And then you have the financial statements here, but you also have a file called Use of Resources, UOR Summary. And you can click that file and open it. And then you will see the person months that were reported for each partner. You can look here for participant number 1 for SLU. And here is possible to see the person months that we reported for each work package. So, and you can scroll down here and you'll get to the next partner, partner number 2, and so on, partner number 3. And you will see here the person months that were reported for each work package, if you want to double check that. So then I want to remind you about how to calculate the salary costs. Your salary costs are calculated by, for each person who has been working in the project, you take their full salary. For in this case, you can do the full salary for you'll do it for each year. Then basically you'll do it one for 2024 and once for 2025. Let's say if you do that for 2024, you take the full salary cost, including all mandatory social charges for 2024. You divide that cost on 215 days, and then you get a daily rate. Then you go to the timesheet. You probably have a timesheet for each person. Hopefully you should. You should have a timesheet where you have entered the hours that you have been working, and you do the total hours for the year and divide it on 8. Then you get the number of days. That can be with a decimal number. Then you get the number of days that you have worked. And then you calculate, you multiply the number of days that you have worked, the day equivalents worked on the action, multiplied by the daily rate for that person. Then you get the cost for that person. Then you do that for every person that has been working in the project, and you add that figure, and that is what you're going to be reporting as personnel costs. So then you go to, let's see here. Yeah. Here you go back to the managed project. And then you go now to the financial part where you're going to enter the costs for your finances during this past 18 months. You click here, you get a new window. You then go down here to personnel costs, A1, employees. I don't think anybody's using unit costs, so it's actual costs for that's what's most common. And you enter here the total salary cost in euro that you have calculated using this formula with the daily rate. So yeah, and then keep in mind then that if you need a decimal, then a decimal is a point, not a comma. And now you have the figure here, that's the total amount for your personnel costs. Then you need to add the person months for each work package, which you click here on this R here. Then you first select the work package 1, and you add it. You just add the work packages that you've actually worked in. Maybe, I don't think everybody has been working in every work package, perhaps. Then you write, maybe it was 1.45 months in that work package. Then you add the next work package and so on until you have added all work packages that you have been working in. Yeah. And then you confirm this. And you also save. Make sure you save. Make sure you save this blue save button here. You can do that several times. Then you go down if you have other types of costs. It could be subcontracting, which is added by clicking in this R and then adding the subcontracting by adding the contract if you have subcontracting. And then your travel costs. Maybe you have, let's say here, I just write here for them. Say 5,000, for example, subcontracting. No, travel and subsistence. Then maybe you have equipment, maybe you have other goods, works and services. That's other goods, works and services. That's pretty much everything that is not travel or equipment or subcontracting. Other things, other types of contracts or services. Then you add those also here.
Helvert, may I ask a question?
Yes,
for
sure.
other goods, works, and services. So do you mean also rents for rooms when we are doing a workshop or something like that?
Yeah, so rent for room, if you have a workshop, that will definitely belong here.
Okay.
Of course, rent for room for your regular office, that's not a valid cost. That's supposed to be covered by the overhead. But yes, if you have arranged a workshop, a meeting, a conference, and you have needed to rent room and you've had a coffee break, then those costs should be entered here.
Okay. Cool.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
And save. And now you will probably see, we will now do a check here. If we click this button, validate, that will check if everything is okay. No validation. Okay, let's see. I should add some more costs here then. Let's see. Yeah. Here we see that if the other costs are more than 15% of the personnel costs, then we have to explain that, and then we have to go to this R here. You'll see here that we'll need to explain a total of 5,225. So in that case, we'll need to add a row here. And the easiest thing is to start with the biggest cost item that needs to be explained. Maybe we'll have coffee break. And that belonged in work package 3, for example. And it was planned, it was foreseen in Annex 1. If it was planned in the contract, then it's yes. If it's a new cost that was not planned in the contract, it should be no, and then it should be explained further. And then we'll need to write the number here. And we'll need to add rows here up until we have at least explained the number that we're asked to explain here. So you should not explain exactly that amount. You should explain a little bit more, because if you explain exactly that amount, that is not very logical, because it's not logical that you just happen to have one invoice that happened to be exactly the same amount as 15% of your salary costs. So you need to explain actual real invoices here, so to speak. Yeah. And confirm. And then you continue until there's no more message here. Then you see there's still more costs that need to be explained here. So then one has to yeah, I think I did wrong here, that if it was coffee break, it should have been on the other row. So here I just say flight ticket to yeah, something like that. And then I will have to explain the coffee break here. And this is just an example. Of course, the coffee break probably wasn't this expensive, but it's just as an example. Confirm and save. And then I also validate it again. Oh, it was missing information for associated work package here. I had to add the work package here, obviously, for the coffee break. And it was foreseen in Annex 1. Yes. Confirm and save. And validate again. Yeah, then it's ready. I just want to mention also another thing. If I go back to the personnel costs, and that is, you should do the following calculation. Sum the total number of your person months that you're reporting, the total number of your person months. If you take that figure and you take your total salary cost that you're reporting and divide it by the total number of person months you are reporting, then you will get a cost per person month. Then you go to your budget and do the same thing. You take your total personnel costs in your budget and you divide it by the total person months that you have in the contract. Then you have a budgeted cost per person month, and then you compare that to what you are reporting now. And then if there is a very large difference in the cost per person month that you are reporting compared to cost per person month in your budget, if that's a big discrepancy there, a big difference, then the EU will send the report back and ask you to explain it. So if that's the case, that there's a big difference there in your case, then please try to double check everything if you have made the calculations correctly. If you have made the calculations correctly, then you need to be prepared to come with an explanation later. And the explanation could be that somebody else had to work on the project more than planned. A professor with a very high salary had to work instead of the PhD student, and then it got more expensive. And then you need some form of explanation. Why is the cost per person month so much higher than in your budget? So be prepared for that in that case. Yeah, so that's something that they will probably ask for if that's the case. Yeah, there's a question here from lenders.
Yeah, just a question on when a difference is big. Is it 5%, 10%? How much of before we qualify as big difference?
Yeah, when is the difference big? I'd say maybe 5%. Yeah, I don't. The EU has not set a specific figure for that, but obviously you're not going to. It's not going to be the exact same amount. That would be very strange if it was exactly the same amount as your budget. So obviously it can be a little bit lower, a little bit higher. But if it's really sees that it's obvious that it's much more or much less, then double check. I don't remember with you lenders if you are you're a small enterprise or a small company. Yeah. So maybe you have a special. I'm not. We can talk about that if that's necessary. But if there's a small company where the owner of the company is working in the project, there is a special way of calculating the salary cost, because oftentimes an owner maybe does not have a fixed salary. Maybe the salary varies from time to time. So in that case, the EU has set up a fixed way of calculating that owner's salary. So if that's the case for you, maybe you can contact me if you need to discuss that in that case. But normally it should be the regular salary that you have as part of your employment contract. That should be the salary that is reported here. Yeah, and the person, it should be it might be obvious, but it should be a person that is employed by you as a partner. If the person is not employed by you as a partner, then it is subcontracting. So yeah, it should be somebody that has a valid employment contract with you as a partner. Okay, that was it so far. Are there any questions so far? Many of you have done this once before or several times, so there's some reminders here. Does everything seem clear so far, or?
Howard, I have a question.
Yeah.
Perhaps can you explain again the daily rate? I'm not.
The daily rate, yeah, yeah. I just have a PowerPoint here that I got from the EU. Let's see here. But as it says here, it says the maximum declarable days pro rata is 215 days. So that means that the normal way of calculating the daily rate is that you count that you have 215 working days in 1 year, even though your actual number of working days might be more than that or less. The EU suggests that you just use the number 215. It is also possible to use something called actual costs, but then you need to have a model that is certified by an auditor to use that instead. If you don't have a cost model that is certified by an auditor, then you need to use this model. And that means that in this case, we have both the years of 2024 and 2015. And for most, I think you have different salaries for different calendar years. So in that case, you should calculate different daily rates for each year. So you go in your bookkeeping system, look at the salaries that are entered in your bookkeeping system for each person that have been working on the project. So when you calculate then for 2024, you take the full salary costs, including all mandatory social charges. All things that are mandatory, it should be the normal salary that the person has according to their employment agreement. And then you have social charges on top of that. So what you have charged in your bookkeeping for the full 12-month period, you take that, you divide it by 215, and that way you get a daily rate for that person that you will use when you calculate the salary cost for that person, which you will go and look how many days have that person been working. So you will convert from hours to days by dividing the total hours by 8. Then you get the days. I would recommend using then 2 decimals, rounding it to 2 decimals. So for example, you will then see that the person has been working 20.35 days. Then you take 20.35 days multiplied by the daily rate that you've calculated here. And then you do that for each person. For 2025, you have not a full year yet that have passed. Then there are different ways of doing that. You could then just use the the actual cost that you have so far up until July. And you will then divide it by, you could then calculate like 215. Then you have only 7 months so far. So it's 7 divided by 12 multiplied by 215. Then you get the base that you can divide the salary with by. Is it clear, or there's also the possibility that you can just take the salary that the person has according to the agreement. If it is an annual salary in the contract, you just take the annual salary in the contract, you add the social charges, and you divide it by 215. Then it's not based on the actual cost in your bookkeeping. Then it's just based on the salary cost according to the agreement. You can also do it that way, maybe easier. So you just go look at the person, what do they have in annual salary according to their contract, divided by 215. And as always, all salaries should include whatever mandatory contributions to pensions. So everything that is mandatory by law, costs for the employment, that should be included. But things that are not mandatory by law should not be included. So yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And also I can say you're welcome to contact me. My email is here. That's my email here. If you have any questions, you're welcome to send me an email. And we can, if there are complications, if you need to have a discussion on the phone, maybe we can have a Teams call. If there's something that's still unclear, that's possible. So you're always welcome to send me a question by email.
Halvard, I have a question for you, and that is, what is the time frame? Do you want this within a month?
Yeah, that's a good question. We should, of course, we as a partner, we have, let's see here if I look at them. We as the coordinator, we have 60 days to complete the full periodic report. I can just also mention here that you need, very important thing, you need to submit the report also once you have filled in everything. Then you need to push, I'm not pushing this button now, but you need to push this button, lock for review. And you will get a message, do you really want to lock for review? And then you click OK. And then you'll need to wait a few minutes. And then you need to the person who is appointed as the financial signatory, since you have all but one of you already have submitted a report before, I think you have already appointed a legal signatory. So that person who is appointed as legal signatory needs to log in here, and that person will see a yellow sign button here. That button needs to be pushed in order to sign the financial report. So that needs to be done. So please don't forget to do that. It needs to be submitted signed by the financial signatory.
Halvar, then I have a question.
And then the time frame. Yeah. The time frame, we have 60 days. But 60 days is the deadline for the EU. So we need to receive your financial report before that, preferably 2 weeks before that. So that means that the deadline will be mid-September. So we would at least like to receive it the 15th of September at least, preferably before, but we need a couple of weeks still before the deadline for the EU to be able to have some flexibility, if there's some issues and so on. So that 2 weeks before, so 15th of September, no later than that. I will send out an email reminding everybody about that, because not every partner is here, so I will send out an email to everybody about that. And I can also just mention the technical part is only filled in by the coordinator. So, but with contributions from the partners.
I have a question, and that is is it so that the person who is have the legal signature responsibility, that person will get an automated message from the portal that there is something to sign? Is it so?
You're thinking about the financial signatory in this case.
Yeah.
That person will get an automatic email when it's ready to sign. But that means that you first have to push the lock for a review button.
Yep.
Normally the EU would, the plan from the EU side is that there should be different people entering the figures in the financial report and another person doing the signing, like so that person doing the signing will be checking the figures, so to speak. But it can also be the same person. The person who is entering the figures need to have the status of participant contact. So if the same person is doing it, that person needs to have both the roles of participant contact and financial signatory. I will go in and show you here to remind you how to add new people as financial signatory, in case somebody doesn't remember that. So I will do that. So the lock for review here is then pretty important for the automated email to go out. Let me just show you here where you need to add the financial signatory in case you have not added a financial signatory. I will show you this. Go to My Organization in this menu. And then you go to your organization here. You go to the menu here. You go to Edit Roles. And here you will need to add roles. And you will choose here, you will choose the financial signatory. You will then add the first and last name and the email. And the email is the most important here. The email needs to be exactly correct. The person who can do this needs to be a person who is already appointed as participant contact. Sorry. The person who is doing this needs to be the leader of the organization. The leader of the organization needs to be doing this. So some of you might be the leader. There might be somebody else who is the leader. Then you need to talk to that person about adding a new financial signatory in case you don't have a financial signatory. Once you have done this, you will then go back to your project. broiler, you will go to your project and you will go to not manage project this time, but manage consortium. And then you will go to your organization and you will click on this arrow here. You can then see the various people that have access to the project. Since we are the coordinator, we are called coordinator contact, which is the same as participant contact for the participants. You have a number of participant contacts. You need to have the role of participant contact in order to be possible to add the financial information in the portal. And in order to sign, you need to have the role of project financial signatory. And you see myself here, I have both roles of financial signatory and coordinator contact. You need to add the financial signatory that you added under my organization needs to be connected to the project. And you do that by clicking Edit Roles, and then Add Roles, and then you'll choose Project Financial Signatory. You'll then get a list. In our case, we have a big list of possible financial signatories, but you might just have one name. You'll then need to click that name and then click Save. And then the person will be connected to the project as a financial signatory. And it's the same way that you add new people as participant contacts. But then that is done manually just by adding their name and their email here, and then save. And that can be done by yourself. You don't need to contact us to do that for your organization. Okay, now I think I have showed you all the things that are necessary in order to do this reporting in the funding and tender portal. So yeah, now I think pretty much everything is covered here. So yet another possibility for more questions.
Yeah, so repeating this, it would be fantastic if you could put in this not later than the 15th of September. Yeah. Because and then when it's locked for revision, Halvard will be able to see it. And sometimes last time we needed to get back to, you needed to contact them to see that it was in accordance with which was stated in the grant agreement. So
yeah, we mean locked for review. You mean submitted? It needs to be submitted to us. Then of course I will have a look at the financial report. If I see that there is some issues or are some issues with the financial report, I might send it back for revision to you. And we need to have a little bit time for that to be done. So that's also why we need you to submit it no later than 15th of September. So, but then of course there might be issues that I will not notice that will first be noticed by the EU after we have submitted everything on the 30th of September. Then the EU might discover things and they will send back everything with the questions for the various partners and so on, or they might have questions about the technical part. But the most common question I can say that the EU have is if there is a discrepancy between the cost per person month in your reporting and the cost per person month in your budget. That's the most common thing. So if you can double check that yourself, then there's much less possibility for the EU sending the report back to us. By experience, of course, even if we have done everything correctly and perfectly, it seems like the EU always will have some questions no matter what about something. So they will make sure they find something to ask about. But if we at least eliminate the most obvious things, that's good. Then there's so much less questions to answer to the EU. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't hesitate to contact Halvard or me or talk to the academic partners. I mean, in some countries, for example, in Netherlands, I know that Wageningen, they have hundreds of these projects and they have support and expertise. And I know for the industry partners that this is maybe the first EU project that you have been participating in. So, but just ask and contact us, and we will try to help you as in a good way.
I can also mention here that all the things that I have said here are also available. It is also available on the portal. If you go up here to guidance documents, you have guidance and manuals. There are several step-by-step explanations with pictures that the things that I have already told you. So if you don't remember something, you can also try to go here yourself at the guidance and manuals. And you will then see here that there's some online manual with step-by-step explanation. The thing with the online manual and the EU explanation is that they explain absolutely everything. They explain every possible eventuality, also things that are maybe not applicable to you. So that means that you will have to go through lots of things that is not really relevant for you. That's why we're doing this little session here, to just do the most important things and the most relevant things.
It's like a crash course.
Yeah.
I also see, I just want to mention that we have somebody from the Royal Agricultural University in UK, and within this project, as you're well aware, that you are a partner as all other in all aspects except the financial part, because you get the money from your ministry. Because we were in this unlucky situation where there was no agreement between UK and EU, and now there is an agreement. So future projects will be reported within this portal. But I'm sure that you are aware of this.
Yeah, I am indeed, and thank you. It's been really useful because obviously it's a different set of funding portals that you're working through here than we have to work through, but there's a lot of similarities as well, so it's been really useful. There are other projects that I will be involved in that are done through this type of portal, so it's been really useful. So thank you very much for the shortcuts.
Yeah, it's good. I think in the future UK universities will take part in the same way as the other European partners, and will report in this way. But there are these transition projects, so to speak, that are not.
Thank you. I was lucky enough to work on a project in Ireland for many years, so I'm familiar with it because, of course, Ireland has direct access. So it's been really useful. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
And good luck to everybody. I know some of you have holiday maybe in August, so I hope that you're able to plan your work in such a way that you still can submit everything no later than 15th of August, that you have some sort of planning for that.
And it worked very smoothly in the last reporting on month 18. So I expect that as this is, most people have been doing this before. I think that this will be at least equally smooth.
Yes. Yeah, well, then it's just remains to wish everybody good luck and hope for smooth and successful reporting work here.
Yep. Halvard, I will be downloading the recording or have the recording, and I don't know really where to put it, but maybe you can distribute to the whole group that got this invitation for the meeting your web's YouTube video.
I have a YouTube YouTube thing that I could upload it to. I don't think this is going to earn much money from advertising, but yeah.
So we can use that, and then we can put in this, because this is completely adapted to the BROILERNET project.
Yeah. Very well.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is always a final question. Now you have the opportunity. Okay, but then we close the meeting. Thank you all. Have a nice summer.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.